Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching Shazam, the political vigilante. Look at that. Making Gotham great again. Oh, boy. Boy, we need rent relief. There's millions of Americans that are behind on the rent because their jobs got shut down for what? 12 to 18 months because of COVID. There is a housing crisis because management companies have been buying up literally since the last collapse over 10 years ago, 2008, 9, 10, and especially the last 2 years during COVID, have been buying up apartments and single family homes and creating an artificial, Lee Camp covered this on his show, Moment of Clarity, I believe, 17 million uninhabited either apartments, condos, or single family homes. So there's 17 million nationwide. All throughout LA, you see this. You see these empty buildings, these new fancy high rises. Some of them aren't even finished, but they have empty units in them because what these management companies have done is they go, if we release all of these units, make them all open, the price will drop. So they've created an artificial rise in housing in every city. Because I remember me and my friends were talking about this. All these people moved out of LA 2 years ago because of the COVID and the riots. All these people moved. I saw for rent signs everywhere like, well, I guess all the rents are going to come down. They haven't come down. They've actually gone up because these evil assholes have realized that if we keep enough units empty, then there's a higher demand so we can make more money off the units we do rent. Is Congress addressing this? This is a national emergency. The inflation is through the roof. Food costs have gone up. Gas has come down a little bit. In California, went from $6 to $5.50 or something. Oh, thanks. Thank you. People can't pay their bills. And what happened? What did the Senate just do? Oh, it gave Biden more money for the war than he needed. Just happened. Senate passes record $858 billion defense act, sending bill to Biden. So let me just give you a quick history on this bill. The 2022 budget was $778 or $779 billion. Already way too much. Every year, doesn't matter who's in the White House, who controls Congress or the Senate, bipartisan support, up, they give more. Every year. When Trump was in office, all these Democrats voted to give him more money. It goes without saying. Biden asked for $802 billion, which is already a disgusting amount. Democratically controlled Congress voted to give him $839 billion, 37 more billion than he asked for. It got approved, of course, bipartisan, no bickering, no fighting, no nothing. That got sent to the Senate. The Senate gave it even more money. We're coming in at $80 billion more dollars than we were getting in 2022. This is the 2023 budget, this 858. You remember, of course, recently, a couple months ago, the clean energy bill or whatever, $378 billion spread out over 10 years. Oh, it was all these fights and big speeches on the floor of the Senate. And the media was covering it morning, noon, and night. Nobody asked how we're going to pay for this. Nobody. It just gets rubber stamped. And no one in the media says, how are we going to pay for this? That question is literally never asked. We've already sent $120 billion to Ukraine. No one's asked. And in this package, more money for Ukraine, more money for Taiwan, because Russia and China are so evil. Tell me, guys, in the comment section, write down how many Russian bases are in Canada. How many Chinese bases are in Mexico or the Caribbean? Hint, it rhymes with fun. There are no bases in our hemisphere at all. And then go look up and see how many U.S. bases surrounding China and Russia. We have those countries surrounded. If we cut our military budget in half, this new one, we will still be spending over 230 billion more a year than China spends on its military. China spends about 190 around $190 billion a year, roughly. Maybe they've increased it, but if they got it up to 200, so what? We could cut it in half and still more than double what China is spending. And I want you to remember this, Bill. Remember this dollar amount. And they tell you, oh, they're getting fucking relocating pets for soldiers and stuff, like soldiers' pay is going up. Okay, great. Good for them. But really, this is lining the pockets of the defense industry. Weird that Defense Secretary Austin was on the Raytheon board of directors. That's so weird. I'm sure that's a coincidence. And Boeing and Raytheon buy ad time on all the major networks, including Fox and MSNBC and CNN. So no one on those networks questions this. How are we going to pay for it? Nobody. Remember during the 2020 primaries and debate, Bernie Sanders, Medicare for all. How are we going to pay for it? Oh my God, Bernie just wants to write blank checks for his hippies that want health care. Unbelievable. This is barely even talked about on the media. Everyone's all bent out of shape about Elon Musk and Twitter. And what did Kanye? Did you know what Kanye said today? Probably didn't call out the war machine. Senators opposed the National Defense Authorization Act. Senators supported, or the NDAA, an annual must-pass bill setting policy for the Pentagon by an overwhelming 83-11 bipartisan majority. And in this article, I was trying to find out who these 11 were. I couldn't even find. I went to the Senate's website. It was a hard time finding it. And if this was just a collection, they said in the article, of liberals and fiscal conservatives that don't like the spending. I think Bernie voted against it. Thanks, Bernie. You should have done way more. But how is this passed every year without no fighting? Only 11 people voted against it? Overwhelming. Why is that happening? Well, everyone who is in office right now was elected in 2020 or before then, right? Defense industry top recipients for 2020 campaign. Joe Biden, 3.1 million. Donald Trump, 2.7 million. Bernie, 800,000. Wow, won't get that back. Kay Granger, 565 from Texas. David Perdue, Republican from Georgia, 455. Martha McSally, 432. James Inhofe, Oklahoma, 412. John Ossoff, Democrat from Georgia, 405. Jamie Harrison, Democrat, South Carolina, 375. Kelly Loeffler, 360. I want you to see that there's plenty of Democrats. The top one is Joe Biden. Gee, I wonder if Biden's going to sign this bill. They paid for it already. Liz Warren, 338. Kelly Mark, 326. Warnock, 325. So we had to vote for this guy because Herschel Walker was a nutbag, which he is. But now we get a reasonable, good, liberal carry water for the war machine. See, there's diversity. A black man in Georgia can vote to support the never-ending war budget. Your kids probably have cutting, there's funding that's been cut to your kid's school. Did you drive over a pothole today? The war machine didn't. Do you work any government agency that like social services and there's not enough money? Oh, well, how are we going to pay for homelessness? These guys get whatever they want. I like showing this. These are the top 15 countries by infrastructure. Number 1, Singapore. Number 2, the Netherlands. Their military budgets are nothing. Hong Kong, 3. Switzerland, 4. Japan, 5. South Korea, 6. Spain, 7. Germany, 8. France. I was just in France, Germany. Yes, I've been to this country. I've been here. I've been there. I've been Germany, France. I was just in the UK. All these countries, really good public transportation, all this stuff. Free healthcare. All these countries got free healthcare. America, UAE, 12. We're 13th. Belgium and Denmark. And I bet you they don't have the homeless problem that we have. General Dynamics, look how much money they spent in 2020 just in lobbying, $10 million. 10.8 million, 10.3 in 2019. Flat out contributions, 4.3 million. Oh, everybody goes to Somalia. This is over the summer. Why are we going to Somalia? It's the next superpower for oil and whatever we keep sending to Ukraine. There's no money for homelessness in this country. There's no we can't even give 10 grand for student debt forgiveness. Can't do it. But endless money for war. When is America going to say enough is enough? I need all of you to ask this question. How are we going to pay for it whenever it comes to war and police spending domestically? How are we going to pay for it? Boy, we can't give rail strike. We can't give rail workers. We can't give rail workers paid sick leave. We can't afford that. But we got money for endless bombs and munitions and crap we don't need and bombers we don't need. We could blow this whole world up 1,000 times over, but we need a new bomber. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth. Until we stop this egregious, out of control military spending, America is going to keep spiraling out of control. The UN has done studies showing that there are parts of America that have third world conditions. In the inner cities and in rural areas. There's people living in abject poverty in rural areas of America. There's homeless encampments in every major American city. But endless money for war. Things can change if you wanted to. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We are still in our 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a P.O. box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.